Alright guys, well, on this video I purchased some solenoids for a 09G transmission out of a 2003 Volkswagen Beetle. That's one of my cars, and what I did was I went online. I never do this, and now I understand you guys' frustration when you buy something online, you install it in your car, and then I get a lot of comments and questions. Hey, you know, it's still doing the same thing, or it's acting worse. Or you guys buy valve bodies from reman companies that sell reman valve bodies, and then you install it and you have the same issue. You take it out, you put another one, it's worse, and you end up doing, you know, don't know what to do. I never do this, and I decided I'd just go ahead and try it. I bought some solenoids online for 09G, and this is the box. That's the company, SINS, right? So I installed it on the car. The first thing that went wrong was the connections. I had a hard time connecting two solenoids. All right, I mean, the connectors were badly molded, you know, together. They were not built right. I managed to connect them, but I had a brutal 1-2 upshift on it. I did the quick learn and everything. I was gonna mess with the valve body, you know, adjusting it, you know, to make it better on the 1-2 upshift. 2-3 was okay. 3-4 was kind of a little on the firmer side. Downshift from the 4-3, and actually the 3-2, second gear was always hard. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna repair these solenoids. I usually install a transgo shift kit on all my customers' vehicles, and I never swap valve bodies for any reason. If I'm working on it and I'm the first one that, I mean, I do work for other shops, you know. I get transmissions in, and sometimes they just can't fix them. And I do work on them, and I ask them, hey, what did you do to it? Did you change the valve body? Did you change solenoids? What did you do inside the unit? Try to get as much information as possible to, you know, get to the root cause of the problem. Sometimes it's created by them, or sometimes the problem was there to begin with, and they could never fix it, right? Anyways, these are my original solenoids. I did already one. I did repair already the lockup solenoid. I'm gonna get you guys closer to the bench. I'm gonna use a tool to open the solenoids from the front. Here, we're gonna remove the snout out. We're gonna take the electrical portion off it, and we're gonna clean the solenoids, the bushings from the inside. And I mean, I do this all the time. I mean, I've done, I'm not gonna say hundreds of shift kits on 09Gs and AW55s and the ones that come in the Mazdas, and I mean, they have this type of solenoids. I'm not gonna say hundreds. I mean, I'm gonna say I have done close to 100, or probably a little bit more. But so transgo shift kits are real good for this thing. I do them all the time. But I got the tool, and we're gonna use the tool for this thing. And I also have a shift kit. I'm not gonna do anything to the valve body itself. I'm not gonna open the valve body. Like I said, this is my personal vehicle, one of my cars. Not my personal vehicle, but it's one of my cars. I own the car. So we're gonna do that. I started filming, you know, when I took it off, and I took this off, and then I put those other ones on. I think I'm gonna look for that. I was doing it with my phone. I gotta look for that SD card, that old SD card for my phone. I put a couple of 1,000 miles on it, you know, but it's just frustrating, to say the least, that things like this that you buy online, or companies that you think that are good companies, you know, that, I mean, don't get me wrong, most of the companies are good companies that rebuild valve bodies, but sometimes there's mismatches. And I believe that's the issue here. I'm gonna show you the valve body once I get it off. It's a 2003 model, takes 2 pressure switches. The 2004 and up, they eliminated the pressure switches. And I believe, I hope, that this is the problem, that they sent me the ones for the non-pressure switch valve bodies. But Anyways, regardless or whatever, I already spent that money. I'm not going to send them back. You know, I'm just going to keep them there. If I need one or whatever for replacement, sometimes the electrical part goes bad, so sometimes you need to replace them. But most of the time, I mean, that's never the issue. I mean, I've done, like I said, I've done quite a few of these things, and I have never ever replaced a solenoid on an 09G or the TR60SN, you know, the rear wheel drives that are like on the Volkswagen T1, Porsche Cayenne, or things like that. It's the same type of setup that they have. Anyways, let me get you closer to the bench, focus on the bench. I'm gonna get the tool, we're gonna open them up, we're gonna clean them up, put them on the car, and we're gonna go for a ride and see how this thing is gonna perform. I mean, it's gonna be lovely. It's $22 a quart for, not a quart, per liter on the transmission fluid. It has brand new, I had to buy 6 quarts. It took like 5 and a little bit over 5 liters of fluid. So the fluid is pretty clean. I'm not gonna put new fluid in there. You know, it's working. Not the way it's supposed to, but it is working. All right, well, let's get you closer to the bench and let's go ahead and start doing this thing. I'll get the valve body out. I'm not gonna film the removal and replacing of the valve body. I'm just gonna get the valve body here. We're not gonna open it up. We're not gonna mess with valve body. Just to show you guys that most of the problems, it's a solenoid, sticky solenoid issue. All right, let's get you over here. All right, let's continue with this thing. I already did the lockup solenoid on it, so we're gonna put that to the side. Here's the tool. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bigger one in it. I'm gonna get, this is the line pressure control solenoid. This is the torque converter clutch solenoid. Now, whenever you take this solenoids from the valve body, you have to take them out and don't mix them up. I'm not sure what will happen if you mix them up, but I never do, so don't ask me what happened if you mix them up. I don't know. I never mix them, so don't ask that question. Anyways, the first solenoid, it looks like it has, you know, one of those little that you take with your, like, I forgot the name of those things, but you see them on the, like a code, like RC code or whatever it is. The first solenoid off the 4 of the valve body looks like that. The second one has solid white paint, and these two, they are identical. So I believe, just because of the markings on it, that these two cannot be mixed up, and these two probably can. All right, and of course the pressure control solenoid only goes in one location, and the torque converter clutch solenoid goes in just one location. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing in here on our base. Now we're gonna use our opening tool, and we're gonna go counterclockwise, going back and forth. And you want to make sure that you're in there, in the groove, and I think I went out of the groove. It's already pushing out. So you got to have some downward pressure on there, and then the snout comes right out. So here we see the snout, the valve is good. Now this car, this is my car, when it started acting up, it had like 75,000 miles or something like that. It has 80,000 miles or 81,000 miles. I don't remember exactly, but it's in the 80,000 mile range. So if you're thinking that just because your car has 80,000 miles and it's acting up and you think it's something else, 80,000 miles on new cars like this is the threshold. After 80,000 miles, man, you're gonna experience a lot of things. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this thing up. So we take the armature or the pintle out of the solenoid, and we get a drill bit. I have tons of these drill bits that come on the Transgo kits, and I'm gonna use one of these. I'm gonna go counterclockwise first in, and I'm already having some resistance going in. And I'm going to go through. It has 2 bushings. I already went through one bushing. I'm going through the other one. Here we go. Now that I'm already in there, I'm just going to hold it in place, and I'm going to go back and forth smoothly at first. You're going to feel some resistance, and we're going to do this for a little bit. Now what I'm going to do with this drill bit, I'm cleaning the solenoid bushings. That's what I'm doing with this thing. I know the solenoid is dirty and this is dirty. I mean, no big deal. I'm going to go get it cleaned up. And then we're going to install the snout back on there, and then we're going to re-crimp the can. Now, I'm going to go clockwise until I go to the back side of, I'm going to go counterclockwise until I go to the back side of the drill bit. And that's the same size, well, it's a little bit bigger than the armature or the pintle. I got to be able to kind of go in and out smoothly here. So I'm going to go counterclockwise until I meet the other bushing. I'm out on the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. Go back and forth, back and forth. So we're cleaning the solenoid. I'm glad I did this. I mean, I get a lot of questions that, man, you know, what's going on now? What's happening? I rebuilt my solenoids. I did this, I did that. Sometimes the directions are not followed properly, and that's part of the problem. You get rid of some symptoms and you have new ones. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, I understand that. But some of you guys are DIYers or do-it-yourselfers, and I mean, you got to pay real close attention to what you're doing. One little bitty mistake or something that you did not pay attention to, that's all it takes. My drill bit has to go in and out. This wasn't too bad. This one here is the one that I've seen the worst stuck. Once I get the valve body here, I'm going to show you why I say this one here is on the position from left to right. Is the second one. It's always really stuck, especially if you heat it up. And these two are the ones that has the most of the problems. This is the pressure control solenoid. Now we get the pintle or the armature, and of course it has to come down like that. All right, so I'm going to do that one. Just going to leave it there. Let me get a shop towel here, just so they don't start rolling away. And we're going to put them in order. Lock up, EPC. Put the snout there. We're going to open them up, all of them first, and then we're going to fold. We're going to assemble them. I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to go clean them up and then come back, and then we'll reassemble all of them. Now you got to go counterclockwise on the tool. If you see here the way it goes in, it has a little taper on it, and it goes behind it. So you got to align it on it, keep pressure on it. You'll feel right away, the valve will push the snout out. Snout of the #1 solenoid. Let's go ahead and get this thing out of the can. Same scenario here. This is the one that has like a CR or QR code. I think that's the name I was looking for. The ones that are really dirty, the drill bit is going to be like right there. I'm having some resistance going into the other bushing. I'm having a lot of resistance. Whenever this thing heats up, it acts like a brake. The armature, the pintle will not move. It'll stop it from moving. And that's when you get your hard up shifts, hard down shifts. This one actually is doing pretty good, but I'm going to do both ways. Now I'm going to see if I can get the drill bit all the way through. Let's see. Get it all the way through, and then we're gonna go this way now. Whenever you go in with the drill bit, go counterclockwise, and then you start forward. And I already see this thing just freed up. On the shift key, I mean, he says to do it like 20 or 30 times, you know, go back and forth, back and forth. It feels pretty smooth now. Feels pretty good. All right. Should be able to go in and out with the drill bit. No big issue, no biggie there. See that? That's what you want to see. That's exactly what you want to see. All right, so let's go ahead and put this back in the can. Then I'm going to go clean them up. Let's do the other one, the one that's solid white. Now, don't get me wrong, this is for from my observations, the way they are installed on the valve body. Some of you guys probably work at a valve body building company, and you probably find out that it doesn't really matter which way they go. But this is the way I've seen them all the time, and the way they come out, the way they go in. That's what I do. I don't like problems. I just like to do it one time, fix it, get rid of it. Counterclockwise. Here's our snout, our turret. Let's go ahead and take the electrical part of the solenoid. Remove our armature, I call it pin tool. And already, there's a lot of resistance here. More resistance coming to the second bushing. Like I said, I'm not going to do anything to the valve body. It stopped. I'm going to go counterclockwise. There we go. That's trash. That's debris. All right. It's kind of feeling pretty good, but I want to go in on the opposite direction. I'm going to go through. Pulling the drill bit through. Remember, counterclockwise until you hit the second bushing, and then you start all over again. I'm still going to do a quick learn or relearn. It's called not fast adaptation, but it's an adaptation. I go to channel 00 first, reset everything to factory defaults. Then I go to my basic settings and I do 060, which is my throttle body, and 063, which is my kickdown adaptation. That's all I do. And then go drive it. I know I need to put a Tiptronic switch. That's going to be another video. I will install a Tiptronic switch on it. It doesn't work. It's a convertible, so I don't know why, but the Tiptronic switch on those little bugs, they're always out. They get disintegrated. You'll see, I'll show it to you. Get the drill bit out. Install our armature or pin tool. Put it back in the can. Let's see what we're going to find here on this one. Now, this may not be as bad as some. I just did another one about 2 weeks ago, about a week ago. That was really, really bad. I mean, it worked good cold. Once it got hot, it was loose and it was neutralizing, coming to neutral on the 3/4 upshift, and that was really bad. And of course, this was the issue. Turret, little valve. Get this thing out of the can. You will experience some resistance on that, as you see. Has a little bit, not much. But if I heat that up, you probably see a lot of resistance on it. And I can see already that this was part of the problem. Go back and forth. When you clean them, don't take them all at once, you know, to your solvent tank. Do them one at a time. Set them in position, because you want them to go back in there as they came out. I don't like problems, and I'm just giving you that tip because I don't want you to have problems either. Don't try to just take them out and then mix them up and then expect to, you know, for it to work. They will, but you're gonna have to do some tweaking. And that's one thing I have never done on a valve body. I've done it on the Maximus, but for some reason I gotta adjust the solenoids on those things. Maximus, Nissan Quests, Volvos. I'm talking about the AW55, AW5550s, 51s. I think it comes in a Pontiac something, Torrent, I think it is. AW55s. Feels pretty good. Let's get the drill bit all the way through. Put it back in the can. Last one. Counterclockwise. Valve on the turret feels free. This one actually feels pretty good. Now I do have a little bit of resistance on it. Make sure you don't lose that brass washer. Yeah, I can feel some resistance. You want to go all the way to the second bushing. Even if you're doing it from the front, you know, when you take out, not from the front, but from the back, you want to push in until you feel that you're pushing the valve in, and then go back and forth when you're doing the transgo kit. I mean, you don't have to spend this tool. You just get your transgo shift kit. If you're a DIYer, make sure you read it completely, all the instructions. Because I am not technical support for all of them companies, so don't try to Google my name and try asking me questions. You call the supplier, whoever you bought the thing from. I am not associated with any of those. I'm just sharing the companies that I do get their products. I like them, I use them, and I share it to you. I am in no way associated with them. They probably don't even know me. I mean, to tell you the truth. But I'm just sharing this with you guys, so. Same thing. Let's go counterclockwise this way until we meet the second bushing. It feels pretty good. I mean, see that? Feels really, really good. Yep, this is what you want. Free spin. We're on the last one. All right. Go ahead and put it back on there. Stick it in the can for now. I want to put you guys on pause, clean the solenoids, you know, get all the oil and all this stuff out, and we close them down. We're going to go to the shop press to close them down. I do have the arbor press. We can do one on the arbor press and then one on the shop press, and probably one with the hammer. We're going to do it. We got 5 of them, so one arbor press, one shop press, and one hammer. All right, the 3 ways you can do this. Let me go ahead and clean those solenoids. Be right back. Okay, now we're going to assemble the bushing, the solenoids. There's 2 little adapters that drop in there. We're gonna need to put the thinner one in here first. What we're gonna do, we're gonna straighten up the cans. Let's start with the pressure control solenoid can. Align them, align it well, and then we're going to use this tool right here, and we're going to smack on it. Man, all my solenoids are going to jump up. I'm just going to hold it in my hand, and that'll straighten up, you know, the flute that we created. And then we're going to use this other tool to push it out. And now we have straightened it up. We have straightened this solenoid, not as I would like for it to be, but I'm going to use it without this tool. I did some solenoids like this as well, without that little seat, until it bottoms out. And it's actually the same thing. It didn't really do anything. Okay, so we straightened up solenoid number 1. We're gonna do it as per instructions. We're gonna put the seat in there, the thinner one of the two. Kind of went sideways. There we go. Solenoid number 2, can and solenoid number 2. Straightener tool. Solenoid can number 3. You gotta want to kind of align it on the opening. It goes under flush. You can see that. Solenoid can number 4. Thing goes sideways on me. There we go. Solenoid can number 4. Straightener tool. Number 4. And solenoid can number 5. Straightener tool. Now that we have them straightened up, we're going to switch to the bigger one. Larger of the two. We don't need this two anymore. We're going to use the closing tool. Let's do our pressure control solenoid, drop it in there. And as you see, it's a little bit raised up. That's what's going to be folded in there. That's what's going to be folded in there. Don't forget your armature. That's how free they are. That's what you really want. Drop it in there. Now, there's another piece to this tool to push it down, but it's already down. Now let's get the turret. Now, this right here has a little notch right here. Let's get the focus. Camera's not focusing for some reason, but you see the notch right there. That notch right there. That notch right there, it has to line up to the center of the connector, like that. Has to line up to the center of the connector. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use this to kind of hold down the solenoid. Hold it down. You got to be lined up. It's not showing on camera, but you got to line up that. Make sure you're straight. Here we go. All that stuff is going to jump all over the place, but Let me go to the edge of my bench a little bit towards your guys. 1, 2, ready? First with the hammer. The first one with the hammer. See how it folded everything like it's supposed to go? And of course the turret needs to be aligned. Focus on me, focus, focus. Why is this thing not focusing? There we go. Turret needs to be aligned with the solenoid connector. Actually, we can do all of them like this, but I promise you to take it to the arbor press, and I promise you to take it to the shop press. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to leave 2 of them. One for the shop press and one for the arbor press. Let's go ahead and hammer the rest of them in. Hammer them in, man. Come on now. All right. Push it down. Align the turret. I need to hold it down so it won't misalign on me. Yep, you are aligned. Here we go. All right, it jumped up a little bit on me right here on this corner, but that's okay. As long as it's holding together. As a matter of fact, it's loose. Come on now. Is this loose? Yeah, it is loose. I'm gonna have to take it to the shop press. Well, I guess we go to the arbor press and the shop press. Okay, make sure you are aligned. And that feels pretty good. All right, so let's make sure that it's aligned. That it is aligned. I shouldn't have hammered them. I mean, that method is the first time I've done that. All right, let's see. Make sure that we press in completely. I like the shop press better. Yeah, we are. We're still a little loose. A little bit loose. Yeah. The best method is the shop press. I kind of like the way the shop press works with this thing. Usually they get stuck in there and you have to use this tool to push it out. Let's try this one more time. It is aligned. We are where we want to be, but for some reason, I guess the hammer kind of like messed up our, oh, there we go. We're tight now. All right, let's go to the shop press and do the rest of them. Okay, here we are at the shop press, and remember this solenoid? You go up a little bit more. Right there. Well, up a little more. Hold on, just 1 second. All right. So remember this solenoid? We did it with the arbor press as well, and it did not press right. I guess because I hammered it in. Let's go ahead and do it with the shop press. This should give us a good result. See, it got stuck. That's a good sign. Push it out. All right. So we are good. We are nice and tight. This is what I want. This is what you want to see. Nice and tight. I'm going to go ahead and bring the other one in. Hold on just 1 second. All right, so we got the one with what it looks like the QR code. Drop it in here. Drop it in there. Let's go ahead and make sure that it is aligned and it doesn't come out of alignment on you, which it is aligned, but let me hold it down. You want, it kind of wants to move. All right, we are aligned. Slide this thing in there. It's already held together. Make sure that everything is still aligned, which it is. Go down one time. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. I don't want to hit the connector. There we go. Just watch the difference. There it is, completely closed. Nice and tight. 3 more to go. 2 more to go. All right. Look at the connector. The alignment tab there. The cutout. Align your solenoid. Drop it in there. I'm going to kind of hold it with this. Make sure it doesn't come out of alignment, which is good. And then I'll hold it. There we go. Go down. Look in there. It's good. Good, nice and stout. Go get the last one. Same thing, align it. Just drop it in there. Get this tool here, kind of hold it, align it, hold down on it, get it ready, get it in position. Send it home. There we go. Get it out. And we have fixed this solenoids. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get the valve body, and we'll talk about this 3 methods. The first method completely doesn't work. Second method, it didn't work because I had already hammered it in. Look how clean that is. Look how clean that it closed that solenoid. That's with the shop press. And this is only a 5-ton. This is a real small shop press that I have on the rebuilding room. The one on the shop, I mean, it's a 40-ton for some other stuff. But to disassemble overdrive sections on the 518s and stuff like that, you don't need much. That's all you need right here. 5, 10-ton or whatever. All right, let's go back to the bench. All right, guys, well, I got the valve body off the car. Valve body's off the car. This is the shift kit that I've been using for a couple of years now. It's been working very, very good for me. I don't have any issues with it. For the 09Gs, for the AW55s, for the AF21, I think it is, on the Mazdas, TR60SN on the rear wheel drives, they work perfect. And they do exactly what we did here, but instead of opening them like this, you open it, you cut the back, you take this little cap off, and you put one of those little caps that come in here. See, we got 6 caps to put in the rear. We have 2 drill bits for the 2 different size bushings. We have one little drill bit and a little valve and plunger for the torque motor clutch. We have 2 sizes of drill bits for the spacer plate. So I've been doing this for years now on these units. I've been rebuilding for a long time, so I do any unit that's out there. We're not going to use any of that. Like I told you, we're not going to do anything to the valve body. We're not going to open it up. I got a new filter because the first time I didn't replace it. I just, clean it up and run some solvent through it and compressed air. There's no problem with that. It's a screen type filter, so it can be reused. All right, well, here's our valve body. These are the new solenoids that I purchased. Actually, only one connector came out fairly easily. Ones that were on there, they were on there pretty good. I had to kind of damage them a little bit. That's issue number 1 that I have with these. To plug them in and to unplug them, it's just a real hassle. Like I mentioned, we have 2 pressure switches. This is a 2003 2003 Volkswagen Beetle. Supposedly there's one part number for all of these right here, and part number for this and part number for that, you know, so you cannot get them mixed up. They come each in a little baggie. All right, so let's go ahead and remove the solenoids, but in order to do that, we got to take this little bracket off. You gave me a little magnet here. You actually kind of push, and then you get the little clip off. Let's go ahead and do all 4 of them while we're at it. 2, 3, and remember, these are brand new solenoids. These are not used or remanufactured. These are new solenoids. Come on now. This one don't want to come out for some reason. There was one that I had trouble getting it in. It's probably this one here. I had to kind of hammer it in a little bit. Anyways, let's go ahead and start removing these solenoids. I'm going to get the first one out and just look at it. Let's compare it with one of the old ones. And if we get the connectors lined up like this, they kind of look a little bit alike, but I see that this valve is moved a little bit down. And this one is a little bit to the closer side, to the closed position. It's a steel valve in there, so I kind of like that. So for some reason, I mean, I don't know what's the issue with these things, and they did not work. The way they are crimped look kind of weird to me, at least. The exhaust port, they're small, both of them. I've noticed that on one of the solenoids, on the original ones, one of the exhaust ports is a little larger. Let's go around this way. And it is a little different. As you can see, the valve on this one is a little bit up, and the valve on this one is kind of blocking, you know, the flow there. But anyways, let's go ahead and install this solenoid on the valve body, the original one. Let's put his roll pin back in there. Let's go ahead and remove the second one. And they do have some markings on it that are different. If I get these two together, I have a letter B on one, and I have something that looks like a little symbol, like a cross type symbol. Both valves are in the same position. Go ahead and install this on the valve body. I'm hoping I don't have to tear the valve body, you know, apart to get this pin out. Go ahead and remove the third one down. I also have a B on it. The valve in the same position. Small exhaust port. And on this original one, we have a large exhaust port. Let's go ahead and kind of like compare them. Well, I know that the connections were bad, so that to me is one thing. And we see that the valve on this one is partially closed, actually blocked. And on this one, it's open. Excuse me. All right, this is going to be a challenge. Let's go ahead and take this of the bracket off. Let's go ahead and remove our EPC solenoid. Let's remove the little pin that holds it in place. We'll come back to that one. That's the one that has that QR code looking ink on it. Let's compare the pressure control solenoid. Pressure control solenoid, the valve kind of looks like in the same spot a little bit. The connections, as you saw, they got really stuck in there. I really didn't like it. I am very dissatisfied with that. Like I mentioned, I never I have never had the need, at least not on the 09Gs, to replace these solenoids at all. I just thought I'd give it a try, and actually I experienced what some of you guys experience trying to buy things online, which I don't have a problem with that, but having trouble getting this as well. All right, hold that thought right there. Let me get a little needles, mini needle nose pliers, see if I can get to it. Let's see, have a grabber over here. Suck back in there. There we go. Got that one out. Torque converter clutch solenoid. I didn't have no issues with converter clutch apply or release. They look identical. Valve looks in the same spot. Exhaust port right here on top looks the same. Same top adjustment on it. Has some type of goo on there. I don't know what that is. These seem to be the same as the original one. Like I said, I mean, probably they gave me the wrong ones for the 04s and up. Let's kind of try to line up the pin. This is kind of tricky getting my fingers in there. Let's go ahead and use kind of like align the exhaust port over here, right there in that little window. And get that in there. So we got all, except for that, original solenoids on it. Go ahead and install this little bracket here that holds down. It holds down both little clips. This one I removed it just to get it out of the way, but this one holds the speed sensor connector. One of the speed sensors here and another speed sensor connector here. Remember, we have two pressure switches. Now we got to work this thing out, and I hope we can get it out. Let's see, what can I use here? There we go. Partially out. Just grab this thing. There we go. I remember trying to get it in there, and I had to kind of file that a little bit just to get the roll pin in there, or the little, not a roll pin, but that pin. Let's compare that with this one here. The same thing, same small exhaust hole. Let's look at the valve, partially blocked. The bottom, on the bottom part of it, bottom portion of it. So they are different, definitely. Now look at that. I don't know if you can look in there, see in there the connection. One is bent. I hope I don't have an issue connecting it on the harness. Put our bracket back on. I'm not even going to bother cleaning the valve body. Like I mentioned, you're going to see how this thing works. It's going to work perfect. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and install it in the valve body, and then I'm going to take you to the car. We're going to do a adaptation, factory settings, and throttle adaptation and kickdown adaptation. Alrighty, let me get this thing installed and see you in a little bit. Okay, so we are on the car now. We are on the car, and this is the code that it came up with. Solenoid valve number 5, N92 sporadic, blocked or without voltage. As we saw the pins the way they were, lower quality solenoids. Tiptronic switch, yes, of course, I know. I got ABS wheel speed sensors left and right, the rear, because I ran it in the air. You know, I ran the gears through the air, so on the air, so that's no big deal. We're gonna go ahead and I got it running right now, but let me go ahead and just key on engine off. Let me turn the AC off. Escape. I'm going to go ahead and erase the codes. Press yes. DTC data will be lost. Do you wish to continue? Yes, I wish to continue. Okay, he's doing his thing right now. Erase command sent. Perform read codes function to verify. Let's do verify the codes. I will have a Tiptronic switch code. I know that's bad. 01045 to Tiptronic switch. That's no big deal. That's not going to affect the way the transmission works. Now the adaptations, we're going to go to the engine side. We're going to do a factory adaptation, factory settings, channel 00. Let's go ahead and make sure this thing communicates and establish communication with it. Okay, let's go ahead and read some codes on it. I remember seeing some engine codes as well, catalytic converter or something like that. I can't remember. Something that was not present there before. I know there's some, you guys deal a lot with Everett Cinchu. I don't know if you know that guy. Everett Cinchu work on my car. It's starting having problems. Everett Cinchu. Well, this is not the case. Catalyst system bank 1 efficiency below threshold. 60,000 miles. No, 60. I got 80,000 miles. So I mean, probably catalytic converters going out or something like that. Ain't gonna worry about that for now. 18060. Please check DTC memory of transmission controller. P1652 intermittent. We just cleared the codes on the transmission control module. Let's go ahead and clear the codes on the engine control module as well. Ignition on and engine stop. Yes. Let's lose everything. Command send. Alright, let's go to adaptation. Once we're in adaptation, we're gonna choose channel 00. It's already been selected. I'm gonna press OK. Channel 00 resets. Save channel 00 resets all factory defaults. So we're gonna reset all factory defaults like if it's a brand new car. Reset all factory defaults. Yes. Set OK. Alright. Let's escape from adaptations and let's go to basic settings. On basic settings, we're going to choose channel 060. That's the adaptation for the throttle body itself. The reason we want to do that is because it uses the throttle for upshifting, downshifting. Let's choose 060. Press OK. Now look in channel 4, adaptation run. It's doing its thing right now with the throttle body. Adaptation OK. I'm gonna go ahead and escape. I can go to channel 063, but we're gonna escape. Go to basic settings again. It'll establish vehicle communication. Here for a minute. Like I said, I could have gone to 063. 063 is our kickdown adaptation. Let's choose that and look at channel 4 as well. channel 4 10 times. That means pedal to the floor is running the adaptation. Adaptation okay. Let go of the accelerator. And that's it. That's it. Gotta go drive it now. Alright. I'll go drive it and then we'll go back into the shop and talk about this transmission for a little bit. Okay, we just took off. We look at channel 4. It says 2 hydraulic. You just shifted into 2nd. 3rd, it's a little bumpy, almost nothing. There's 4th hydraulic. 5th hydraulic. Now when the torque converter clutch applies, it's going to say mechanical, 5th mechanical, and 6th mechanical. So we see that the transmission is doing its job. 3rd gear needs to be worked in a little bit. That's why you have to drive it. You have to drive it for a little bit. 20 miles will be sufficient, and then you can give it back to the customer. But for now, everything is fine. We're doing some kind of like medium to 3/4 throttle accelerations. We're going to go to the little streets and see how it feels. When we first took off, second gear was a little firm. 3rd gear flared, and the first downshift from 6 all the way down was a little bumpy, but that was just at one time, and then it started learning itself. So that's why you need to drive it after you do the adaptations and the basic settings. This must be done. And these transmissions, I mean, you just drive them for a little bit and that's it. I mean, no big deal. We're going to go to the little street in the back neighborhood and see how it reacts. Okay, we're in the back neighborhoods. Gonna drive it smooth, you know, normal in the back neighborhoods. 2nd gear good. Perfect 3rd gear. We're probably not gonna pass 4th gear, not in the little neighborhoods. You got to drive it in different scenarios before you deliver a vehicle to a customer. You got to make sure that it is completely performing good. If it is not performing good, or if it has a transmission trouble code, the transmission not working right, you're not done with the car. So you got to do all this. I know it's tedious work, but you're getting paid for that, so you must do it. That's how you build your reputation, and that's how I built mine. So we're gonna drive this thing just about 20 more minutes, and it's perfect now. Downshifts are perfect. We see this. You don't even feel the downshifts anymore. We're in 1st hydraulic, making a turn. This thing is beautiful, working perfect. Alright guys, so in conclusion, with this video, let me turn the fan off right quick. And the radio down too. So in conclusion with this video, to me it was a bad experience purchasing those solenoids. And some of you guys have leave me comments, you know, hey, you know, what's up, you know, I did this and it's not working, you know, and or I changed the valve body and it's not working right, or it got worse, or this and that. Usually all of my transmissions, I use the same solenoids I rebuild. I don't change the valve bodies. I don't swap valve bodies unless I have to. We're going to go in detail on a 475 valve body that it's damaged. We're going to do some vacuum testing on that one. That really, it was unfixable, but we're going to find out why it was doing that issue. But there are some valve bodies that you really do have to change. But on the 09Gs, I have never ever had the, you know, the reason for changing one. I usually just put a transgo kit and that cures the problem, you know. Of course, they're going to be burned up, you know, you're going to have to rebuild them, you know. If they come from another shop, sometimes I do a lot of work like that. I did a video on a Beetle as well. I think that was like in 2005 or something like that. Some of you guys already watched it. We did the diagnosis and then pulled out the transmission, put it on the bench. I tore it down. I showed you what was wrong with it, and then put it back together, put it back in the car, and I mean, we got rid of that car. Anyways, you have to do your adaptations. Adaptations has to be done. It worked perfectly. After about 20 minutes of driving, we're gonna let it sit and let it cool down and drive it again. Like I said, that's my personal car, and I took the opportunity to show this video to you guys, or actually do a video of it, not the removal and replace of the valve body. That's very simple. But anyways, the cause of the problem, I have 81,000 miles on that car, I believe. It's not a lot of mileage. And I know for some of you guys say that, man, it's 80,000 miles, man. It's not, I mean, this is very low mileage. And the reality is that 80,000 miles is a lot of miles, especially on city driving. And all modern vehicles that are shifted like that, 80,000 miles is the threshold, and it starts going downhill. That's the reality. That's the truth. And almost every single 09G, after 80,000 miles, if it gets to 100,000 miles, you got your mileage off of it. And most of the time, it's just deteriorated fluid. I've seen them come out. The transmission's not burned up yet, but I've seen them come out with the fluid. It looks like dark chocolate. I mean, that's how dark it does look. But you look at the bottom of the pan, and the bottom of the pan looks clean. You know, they do have a heat exchanger on top of the transmission. It doesn't cool very good, so deteriorated fluid will start, contaminating your solenoids like that. All right, well, this is the fluid that it takes. Volkswagen fluid, about $21, $22 each of those little bottles. You use the Moxidas DS708 for this application here. To fill the transmission with fluid, I have this little tool that I put on a drill. As a matter of fact, some of you guys are going to ask me about it, so I'm going to go ahead and I bought it at Mac Tools. Mac Tools, so you'll know. There's the picture. I got it upside down. There you go. You all know how to read. There's the part number right there, or tool number. In other words, ratchet pump. Part number PBT 70913. It works really, really good. If you're going to do this for a living, I suggest you get one. All right, well, my name is Hiram. Thank you for watching this video. Click the like and subscribe. Share this video in your social networks. I am going to do some lectures too on transmission, on the basics operations of transmission repair, why I do things. I mean, basically on the teardown video, some of you guys have been following me for a long time. On the teardown videos, I basically show you exactly, what I am looking for as a transmission rebuilder and the cause of failure. I see the transmission as a hydraulic circuit, and that's why I focus on as a hydraulic circuit. Yes, it does have planets, it does have drums and stuff like that, but you have to really look at it as a hydraulic circuit because that's the way it operates. You have holding devices, you have control devices, which in this case were the solenoids and valve body, for that matter, and then you have your clutches and your brakes, clutch and brake. I've explained that to you on some other videos. A brake lugs on the case and a clutch, free spins. And then the computer started doing its thing to do the upshifts and the downshifts. All right, well, I guess that's it for now, and I'll see you on the next time, on the next video. And you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and share.